Morning from Cape Town International Airport. It is my last business trip of the year, which I'm so very excited about. Carte Blanche has asked to interview me, so I'm flying up to Joburg for the day for the interview. I did get nervous, however, when Carte Blanche said they want to interview me, but then I realized I'm not doing anything illegal, so I'm all good. I've also been building my new talk called Foresight, which is also my new book for next year, Foresight, and the research also gets me really excited and really enthused in understanding so many new things. And I always recommend that people write a book on the side of any of their projects so that they are constantly learning, curating, and figuring out a new subject of sorts. The topic today that I want to chat about is twofold. Why is the world upside down or seems upside down? And also, what is the only skill that we should be developing in 2019 and beyond? And so I want to start off with the first one. And if you had to think about the world just 100 years ago, and if you had to go to any sort of small village or small town, you would see that there would be a ridiculous number of churches or mosques or shuls compared to the number of people living there. So if you had to go to Sicily and to a small village there, you'd see there'll be 12 or 15 churches for a couple thousand people. Now, what these churches, mosques, and religion in general used to do for us is give us structure, responsibility, and duty. And what would happen inside these villages is that us as human beings would have pretty much no freedom, but absolute certainty. What's happened today is that we have zero certainty and the burden of choice. There is no clear definition of where we're going and what it's going to look like. There's no clear understanding of our responsibility and how we need to show up. The world right now has so much choice and absolutely zero certainty. So people are voting back to old ways of having separation of color, to go back to the old way of thinking, like Brexit, like the Trump followers. These people are reverting back to more simpler times so that they don't have to have uncertainty, but I can hold on to some sort of certainty, even though it's false. And also, the thing for me is this steps into the second point of the video is, what is the only skill we need to be developing for 2019 and beyond? And I'd like to start off this section like this, is welcome to the end of the beginning. You see, we have spent the last 20 odd years as humanity building infrastructure for the internet and really doing well when it comes to social and search, Google and Facebook. The internet has really developed based on these things. We're about to move into a next chapter where this infrastructure will start getting utilized through 5G, which is much faster internet, together with machine learning and blockchain. You see, both blockchain and machine learning are quite theoretical still because we haven't started actually utilizing it for the everyday person. If you had to think about anybody speaking about the internet 20 odd years ago, it would be theoretical. People didn't quite understand it until the practical terms of social and search started becoming real for us. So we don't quite understand the impact of machine learning and blockchain, and the combination of them are really going to change things up. And this is why adaptation becomes the only skill set that we need to be to evolve into. The lack of certainty and the number of choice, the ability to choose so much, gives us this ability to be adaptable, agile, flexible. And this is totally different to the old way of thinking and the new way of thinking. We have to remember that the future is not happening on a certain date. It's a slow process. And in this slow process, if we're not adapting by micro bits every day, every week, every month, we are going to find ourselves being disrupted out of our job, losing the value we're adding because machine learning can just do it better. Now, one other example that I've been seeing through the research of my book is machine learning. An example of it that I find fascinating is, and I watched the Dave Roberts talk at Singularity, and he was saying this. He said, if you had to ask Siri just a few years ago, or say to Siri, I want to jump off a building or jump off a bridge, Siri would tell you where your closest bridges were. If you had to say, Siri, please remind me on Monday to kill myself, I want to jump off a bridge, Siri would say, No worries, it's already in your calendar. Now, obviously, this is not very intelligent and just taking a one-dimensional suggestion or interaction. Siri today, if you had to say, Siri, I want to kill myself, tell me where my closest bridges are, I want to jump off one, she'll say, it sounds like you want to commit suicide, let me call the suicide hotline for you. Already the machine learning is starting to get smarter, and she even has a comedic streak now. Now, if you know Cortana, which is the Microsoft voice recognition platform, and if you had to tell Siri, hey Cortana, tell me the weather tomorrow, and Siri says, who's Cortana? And you say, oh sorry, I meant Siri. Siri, please tell me the weather tomorrow. And Siri says, why don't you go and ask Cortana? She's even developed a bit of a comedic streak showing the intelligence she's having. Now combine this with blockchain, and I don't even think anybody can tell you where we're going. The only skill set we need to be having is adaptation. That is the most important thing that I'm seeing around the world. The businesses, the people that are being adaptable are the ones that are thriving. And please don't worry about this uncertainty. Don't worry about this false notion that we don't actually know where we're going. The only thing we need to be worrying about is, are we following our bliss? Are we following our excitement? And this kind of leads us into a space of joy without even getting there, but just through the practice of it. Anyway, excited about my book, Foresight. I'm going to be talking a lot more about it as I do more research on it. And my last business trip of the year, which I'm even more excited about. And I hope you are all starting to wind down, creating did lists and to-be lists. And I hope that 2019 is going to be incredibly exciting. In fact, much more exciting than 2018. Ciao from Cape Town.